Then something interesting happens. There's a kind of luminosity that emerges. There's a luminosity that naturally emerges. This is capable of profoundly expanding itself in all directions. This is a luminous, radiant, pure light. There is a unity here. This is a mystical state, as they call it. One is face to face with what is living. This is a living. This is a vitality, vastly vital, radiant, brilliant, intelligible, mind stuff. And it's the very nature of mind. Recognize that in that sense very clearly. Therefore, in the Greek world, that's called intelligence. That's this realm. Right? Luminous, radiant. Upon analysis, therefore, you can see it's mind itself. It's mind perceiving mind. It's mind stuff encountering mind stuff. It's the vitality which is not different than your own. Therefore, this is a oneness. We talked about this. This, of course, is in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara. It's described as the 10,000 suns bursting fully radiant in the heavens, all at once in a total unity. Now, if you can, here's where we're moving now. You see, by reflecting, we can say, that's luminous, that's radiant. Mind, 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 vitality, mind, my mind, its mind, no difference. You are making distinctions in this experience by reflection. Therefore, it is a oneness. Not a one. It's a multiple without divisions, but distinctions can be found and made within it. And it does exist, therefore it has being, therefore clearly it has predicates, its qualities. When this is encountered, it is bliss. One can enter it into it more profoundly. It's not one experience. It admits of a whole range of depth. It has great power. It's not a weak thing. It has great power. It has the force of being itself. One has to be in good condition for it, by the way. Plato talks about it excellently in the Symposium. He says, you have to, before entering into this experience, you have to grow, gain strength and grow by contemplating the great ocean of beauty and giving many magnificent speeches in the abundance of philosophy and thoughts. He said that builds you up. That builds you up for this experience, since it's an overpowering experience. Great power, great power. Only this, to go into it more fully requires greater and greater strength, psychic strength, physical strength. But that's a oneness. Now, what does this do? This allows the person who experiences it or hears about it to come to the conclusion that there is something beyond the physical realm, that this is not capable of coming and going. It's what totally is. It always is. And therefore, by necessity, it's eternity, because eternity means, in Greek, or something that always is. So the experience is eternal. The nature of it is eternal. Therefore, you encountered something that's eternal. By the way, notice, though, if in experience it, you recognize that it is no different than your own mind, then you recognize in that instant that there is a part of you that enters into this, that you recognize in it, that is eternal. Oh, wait a minute now. Has a more interesting, much more interesting aspect to it. In this you identify, hey, me, I, no difference. Why is that interesting? It's interesting for this reason, you see. It has a profound, this has a profound impact on fantasy life. Let me tell you what. It has a profound effect on one's fantasy life. Want me to do it again? It has a profound effect on one's fantasy life.
Okay. Explain.
Yes. The essential feature of every fantasy is that you can identify with the figure in your fantasy as yourself. Agree? I mean, can you think of going to a party where you're able to everyone writes down their fantasy, and you give it to your neighbor, you can use theirs instead of yours? Because you have to identify with it. Therefore, in this experience, you discover what you want to call the self. Therefore, if you have a fantasy going, it only can go for a short period before you recognize that's not me. That's only a shadow and image. Therefore, it doesn't have that contrast that it would, right? It doesn't have, when you don't have the contrast, you only have the image, then you think that's you. But in this experience, if you see profoundly that that's not you, it weakens, therefore, naturally any hold on fantasy life, does it not?
So we like some movies and don't like others.
Oh, yeah.
People are fancy, they don't.
Yeah, here comes one. Oh. Oh, don't have to fight them, right? Here comes one.
Yeah.
Right. Ah, and that's one of the most interesting features about it in terms of psychic development, that the war and all of that drama around fantasy ends. To the degree that one can participate into it again and again, the more one recognizes that this, here's the big point now, that this cannot be put into an image. Therefore, no fantasy.
There's your fantasy.
I mean, boy, like, finger to spot it.
It can only go bang over. Now, why isn't this enough? Why isn't this enough? You see, in many systems, this is enough. This is the highest realm. No. For the Neoplatonic and the Neoplatonic tradition, this is magnificent. It's heralded as one of the most important things to experience. But what makes the Hellenic system different than any other system is that they want to bring people, look, through each stage. Through each stage. Now, there are some systems like Buddhism, certain kinds of Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, where the goal is to skip this.